Hello ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Khalid Masood Kareem. In this weekly video tutorial, I will share technical aspects and techniques of top volume leaders of the Karachi Stock Exchange. It is not a recommendation to buy or sell. The Karachi Stock Exchange 100 Index closed at 44,901 level on 19 March 2021. The weekly closing is below the projected weekly pivot zone, spreading from 45,708 to 46,906 levels. The weekly resistance zone extends from 48,804 to 49,442, and the support zone extends from 42,613 to 44,369 respectively. As discussed in last week's technical video, the index opted for a Harami candle. As you can see on the price chart, that the closing of this Harami candle is slightly below the rising, blue-colored line of the UB indicator. The UB indicator is used by me to identify the trend. Closing above the rising red-colored line indicate a rising trend. Closing below the declining blue-colored line indicate a declining trend. When closing is contained within the flat lines, it is indicative of a sideways movement. The current candles and the UB indicator setup is likely to generate a sideways behavior, unless there is a big white candle formation during current week. The BYCO closed at 11.04 level on March 19, 2021. The closing is above the weekly pivot level of 10.69. The weekly resistance and support levels are at 13.26 and 8.11 respectively. Technically, the stock is within a rectangular pattern. The TRG closed at 140.96 level on March 19, 2021. The closing is above the weekly pivot level of 125.74. The weekly resistance and support levels are at 147.48 and 118.57 respectively. Technically, the formation of a small white candle prints a Harami setup. An interesting week lies ahead. The K Electric closed at 4.26 level on March 19, 2021. The closing is below the weekly pivot level of 4.42. The weekly resistance and support levels are at 5.14 and 3.70 respectively. Technically, the stock is in slightly positive mode, and may test the overhead resistance, if it closes above the projected weekly pivot. Failure to do so may result in sideways trend. The Unity Foods has closed at 30.02 level on March 19, 2021. The closing is below the weekly pivot level of 34.18. The weekly resistance and support levels are at 40.37 and 28.00 respectively. Technically, the stock may remain in sideways mode, to avert a free fall. The PRL closed at 25.31 level on March 15, 2021. The closing is below the weekly pivot level of 27.16. The weekly resistance and support levels are at 32.73 and 21.58 respectively. Technically, the stock has printed a Harami candle. Unless there is a big white or a black candle formation during current week, the stock will remain sideways. Hope you have enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe to my YouTube channel.